Shout out to all my guys and goddesses checking out this video. I am C, the spiritual goddess, here with another video. Yes, gods and goddesses, leave me some red shoe emojis if you are here checking out this video. Today's video, we will be talking about the Cardi B and Jason Lee interview. Yes, gods and goddesses, I told you guys I was going to give my commentary, so I decided to come on and tell you my thoughts. We may even pull a little bit of cards afterwards. Before we get into this video, if you are new here, welcome. I am C, the spiritual goddess. Here we do videos like this, tarot readings along with personal development videos. So I hope you subscribe if you're an oldie but goodie. Shout out to you. Don't forget, if you do want to book my services, all the information is available below. All right, so let's get into it. Cardi B and Jason Lee finally sat down after I don't know how many years. I do know she came by Hollywood Unlocked. I think it was like almost 7 years ago. And she decided to sit down with Jason Lee. Jason Lee has taken his YouTube show to revolt, child. Hopefully it won't be all the drama, child. Those that keep up with the YouTube drama know what I'm talking about. But let's go ahead and get into the pros and the cons and the things that stood out to me. So first off, Cardi B does seem in good energy. She recently sat down with Jason Lee, and what they were able to get into, she actually opened up a lot more than what I thought. I do feel like, well, before we get into pros, I'll start off with the things that I really didn't like about the interview first. As far as when it comes to Jason Lee, it wasn't really more so Cardi B. It was really more so the way Jason Lee handles interviews. In my opinion, Jason Lee is not the best interviewer. He got that Leo takeover spirit. Shout out to all the fellow Leos out there. That's one thing we got to watch out, to not have that takeover spirit. Leo, guys and goddesses, and he can have it bad, child. So that is one thing I will say that I feel like I did not like about it. And Jason Lee, please take this respectfully if you ever come across this video. We, the GP, don't care how you be knowing these celebrities. We want to hear about it. But anyway, she talked about a few things, and a few things stood out to me. Number one, Cardi B looked really good. I did like the whole look. She always comes through with the looks. She was very open about her plastic surgery, which Cardi B has always been, in touching her face. I could appreciate her being open. I am glad to hear that she said she's not going to do anything. Cardi B did say something that stands out. She did say that just because someone gets plastic surgery doesn't mean they think low of themselves. And while I do agree with that statement, if I have to be honest, I don't 100% think that. I do question if Cardi B really does believe that, though, because I do feel like she allows the pressures of the internet to direct her life, i.e. she kind of explained about the Tasha K thing. So look, I'm moving through these topics fast. What I can appreciate about this interview, I do feel like when it came to the Tasha K thing, I feel like this is the most transparent that we've seen Cardi B. She did go into how the Tasha K videos really did affect her. If you don't know about her and Tasha K, look it up. Do I think that she was really affected by Tasha K? Yes. Yes, I do. This is what I will say. I'm a millennial, but I'm an older millennial, right? So in my opinion, even though I personally don't let the internet, I grew up when the internet was the wild, wild west. Like, it was a lot worse than what it was. And when you got done with that shit, you could just turn it off, because the internet affects us differently, or didn't affect us as much, once the computer is off, life goes on. But one thing I do know is Cardi B does come from that generation, like so many, that they are so in tune with the internet. And she did talk about how that Tasha K drama did trigger her. Now, what I will say is this. This is what I will say. In that interview, Cardi B did seem more mature than the past. And that she portrays online sometimes, child. And I do like how open she was, because we, as GP, we may think, girl, you rich, why would you care? But at the same time, she is still a real person who has real feelings. But the only critique I have for that, Cardi, when it comes to that is, while I do think this really did affect you because she grows up in that generation, the internet does affect them. I will say this though, you gotta be the change you want to see, and you have wreaked havoc on some people on the internet, sometimes even unprovoked, i.e. Black T Blog. I don't agree how you doxed her. So that's just my thing to that. However, with me saying that, I don't want to take away from, I do feel like the Tasha K situation affected her. I think everything Cardi B hears off the internet affects her, guys. She kind of admits this, i.e. why she responds. She explained that the reason why in the beginning of 2018, why she was going off and saying things is because she still looks at herself as a regular person, or she was looking at herself as a regular person and not this superstar. That's what she was saying. She was saying that she had a problem with y'all, the critics keep bringing her up and comparing her and different things like that, which I thought it was refreshing for her to admit that. Here's the thing though, Cardi B, my only thing to that is, if you know that's a trigger for you, why not have someone else work your page? And this is where I have to call accountability, not even just for Cardi B, but for people like her, because this is not just a celebrity thing. I see so many people that know their triggers and can stop it, but continue to participate. Yes, we all do need the internet to a certain extent, but you have to know how to deplug. And that's the one thing I do want to say. Especially someone on Cardi B's magnitude, you can hire people to run your pages for you. And for the life of me, I don't understand why she doesn't have that. To another extent, I will say this. I can understand, because I'm trying to play devil's advocate, I can also understand when you start off as a social media influencer, because people forget, a lot of times you like to be out with the people and you like to communicate. Like, it feels good to reply back to you guys' comments. You know what I'm saying? That feels good. You know, I do know there is some larger YouTubers who have a team that responds, and I think that's nothing wrong with that. But it does feel good, like, to comment and feed the people. I think that's one thing Doja Cat, for instance, I'm gonna tie this in, she misses. That's why she got caught in the chat rooms again and had a stalker situation. But I can only imagine, like, being on that type of level and having to cope with not doing things you did previously, like regular life, I guess, or GP. She did say that she still likes, I thought this was kind of funny, and this is why I think makes Cardi B really likable. She did say how she still likes to go to grocery shopping with her cousins by herself. She still likes to go in Target. How many videos and pictures we seen of Cardi B in Target? She stays in Target, child. Shout out to Target. Side note, I haven't been to Target in a long time, guys. I haven't been to Target in a long time. I need to hit up Target. But she did say that. She even says she goes in her old hood, which, Cardi, I just want to say this, girl, be careful. You are still Cardi B, the superstar, so you do need to be careful. I'm going to tell you, because I'm not going in my old hood if I don't have to. You feel me? Like, especially, I don't know, but everybody's different, child. Especially if I was on that level. Now, so on that aspect, I will say Cardi B is really relatable. Now, on to the mess, child, and what I really didn't like. Okay, so she really addressed why she didn't address Sweetie. Now, Cardi B addresses everything else, but she said why she didn't address Sweetie. The rumors about Sweetie. If you guys were on my Patreon, you guys saw that video. That was some tea. But she did talk about how she didn't address it because she knew if she addressed it, people would have been going hard. She said based on how she addressed things in the past. But she also said she knows what's going on in her household, so she's not going to address it. I call bull crap on that, and I'm going to tell you why. Because Cardi B, you guys were all ready to address it You said it on the neighborhood talk. You talked about how Offset was going to address things. You know, because if you guys don't know, Takeoff and Quavo made a song. Quavo said that line, I said, Carisha, please, because she too messy. She f***ed my dog behind my back and didn't tell me, or something like that. My whole thing was, you guys were ready to address it. I do think that Offset's album would have initially had a lot of disses on it if Takeoff didn't die. Unfortunately, we lost Takeoff, and I think that's why it changed. Do I think Saweetie had her man? Yes, I do. I do think that. I definitely do think that. I think when Khalil and Cardi B got into it, that for those of you, shout out to the Barbs, who don't know who Khalil is a longtime faithful Barb, and he also styled for Nicki. So they got into it, and I think when that happened, she tried to downplay it. I don't think she knew. Check out my Patreon. You guys can check that out. I don't think she knew all the tea, but I feel like when that happened, I do feel like when it came out, I do feel like they were going to address things. And it's obvious, Cardi, let's be real. We haven't seen, and I know people will say like, okay, what does this mean? We never seen, probably a few times, we see a few times Cardi and Saweetie really interacting. And even when they did, it was kind of awkward. And it didn't make sense because Offset and Quavo was so close. Like, even with the whole Brew soundtrack, like Saweetie definitely paid Cardi B dust on the Got Females Together. So that was that. Another thing that was negative to me was really when she talked about her and Offset's relationship. Here's the thing, as a married person, I do think it's admirable when a couple, tries to work it out and they weather it through the storm. I'm never one of those people who says, leave him, girl, or leave her if it doesn't make sense. Like, I used to be that friend that did that. I used to be like, leave her. But I learned also, when it comes to marriage, everybody's marriage is different. Some people, I wouldn't took that with Offset, but I never been in her shoes at the same time. I can't say, so that's why I don't want to chastise her for whatever worked for her marriage. But I have to be real with you, from a spiritual standpoint. I do feel like a man is only going to get away with what you allow him. She did talk about how they were on the outs and then she got pregnant once. And then the second time they were on the outs, then she got pregnant. I do not believe in this staying together for the children. And I'm not saying that's not what they did, but my whole thing was, if the children didn't happen, would that have been a motivator for him? That's all my question. That's my question. That's just a question I have. Would that have been a factor? Like, would you still have left him? You get what I'm saying? I do feel like, this is just what I do feel. I do feel like they really love each other. I can see that. And she did make a good point, because she talked about how her and Offset kind of had a real whirlwind romance. And I can relate to this because, look, I had a whirlwind, not as short as them before I got married, but I did have a whirlwind romance. And one thing about that, what people don't tell you, is yes, it is beautiful, but there's a lot of things you have to still learn about your partner, and that can be challenging. So while I appreciate that, I do say though, there's certain things in the beginning that only gets worse through time if it's one unchecked, and if that person isn't ready to change. And I do feel like Offset was cheating on her. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. It came out like before they got married, so it was just, I don't know. I just pray for the best for Cardi B when it comes to her marriage. If she's happy, I'm here for it. I still think they should do, I think it'll be hot if they do like another joint collab or a collab album. I think that would be a good way to work for Offset and Cardi B, like a mixtape situation. That would be dope. But yeah, okay. And this is another thing. Okay, let me first say this. Cardi B, one thing I will say about Cardi B, she has made it clear that she didn't care about the queen spot, wherever, she just wanted to make it, right? She said that. And one thing, Cardi B, if you watched her when she first came in, she did say that, right? I do have to say this. I think Cardi B is not secure in her spot. The reason why what people say on the internet gets to her is because she's not really confident in how she blew up. Not to bring another rapper in it, but let's be real. I do think Cardi B knows a lot of her success. I'm not saying her whole success. So let's not take away from Invasion of Privacy, guys. Invasion of Privacy was a dope ass album. You know what I'm saying? If we have to be real, that was a good album. It was very it was worthy of the awards. So we're not going to take away that from her making good music. But if we have to be honest, and I'm not trying to bring two people in, but I definitely feel like when it comes to Cardi B, a lot of her success, she deep down knows was in spite for Nicki Minaj. You know, the industry was ready to get rid of Nicki. You get what I'm saying? Because of whatever reason. And I think she feels that, or if not that, she doesn't completely believe in her success. Because let me tell you something. If I was Cardi B, you know, I love both Cardi and Nicki. You know, I like both. I love, you guys know I love Nicki, but I like Cardi too, right? But if I was Cardi B, I wouldn't let you Barbs or anybody for that matter get to me. I have a Grammy. What? My album spent how many? Like, I would really do that. But because and I feel like that's anyone who's confident in their work, no matter what work you do, you're going to be confident. You're not going to be scared to put your accomplishments. The only way you'll feel scared is if you're not secure. And while I think that she did get awards, I do feel like there is a downfall to popping really fast. You get what I'm saying? There is a downfall. Sometimes it's best to build a slow and steady growth, but not even that. To take away that, Cardi B is not secure with herself and her place here in hip hop. And that goes more into my reading when I do say, guys, I don't feel like this is a true passion for her. I think she likes making music. I think she likes entertaining, but this isn't her true passion for her. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I do stand by my predictions. I don't think Cardi B is going to be like a long time staple, as far as I feel like she's going to do her Lauryn Hill. Well, Lauryn Hill only had one album, but I feel like she's going to do these couple albums, go into Hollywood or whatever. Cardi B really could come back to social media if she wants. I really do think Cardi B, like, she needs some type of commentary, because she responds. It's like she responds to everybody. You might as well set you up a YouTube channel and go ahead and get you a commentary page, girl. You might as well Kaya it up, you know. But I feel like eventually she's going to retire and do something. I told you guys, I see like residency or something like that even for her, because I feel like her passion is otherwhere, being a mother, fashion, and different things like that. Also, I think it was BS and when she said the whole thing about Meg the Stallion, why she didn't submit the Grammy. That kind of goes into her listening to everyone. But this is just what I feel. I also feel like, because look, Barty Gang, whoever, don't get mad at me, I don't feel like that Cardi B and Meg connection is genuine. I just have to say it. I don't feel like it's genuine, guys. I do not feel like that's genuine. Who remembers when it first started off, Meg was dissing Cardi B. Then she did whatever collab with Nicki. They was like shading Cardi B. And yes, I'm not saying people can't make up, but what I do feel like, whatever between Meg and Nicki happened, and then Jason Lee bum rushed the situation. Who remember when he made them talk on live? What I do feel like is this is what I do feel like. Jason Lee bum rushes the situation, and I don't agree with. He said people think me and Cardi linked up because of who we don't like. They talking about Nicki, right? While initially y'all may not hung out for it, I do feel like that is a factor in y'all relationship because of how you guys move. If I have to be honest with you, how you guys move, I do feel like that is a factor. So I did call BS on that. Jason Lee, you can say you don't do stuff on behalf of Cardi, and maybe she doesn't physically tell you, but you do know certain stories you run on people who is not cool with your quote unquote friends. You do report things biased or have your team. You admitted it with the Odell Beckham thing. So Jason Lee, you guys know how I feel. I feel like he's definitely giving energy and vampire, and I do feel like he keeps up a lot of drama between the girls. I do feel like he's the common denominator. I bet you if we'll talk about that on Patreon. But I do feel like, though, Cardi B is cognizant and knows that if they were to win that Grammy, that would be a big moment for Meg because she had the Savage. You get what I'm saying? Like, I just don't agree. I don't feel like she's scared of winning. What I do feel like is she's not secure in her wins, though. I feel like that's obvious. Because if you were, like, what I want more from Cardi, I want more popping your shit. And I want you to be more secure. And I want you to stop responding online. I want you to, like, I feel like it was so much missed opportunities in this interview. Like, I really do wish, and this is why I hope Cardi B does more interviews. I really do wish they touched on more music from her. Because if you are a true Barty fan, I can see why you would be disappointed. Like if you were Stan, I'm not a part of Stan culture, child. But I feel like I wish we could have talked more about her music, how she feels about hip hop. Does she have a love for it? I also wish, and let me say this. This was also BS. When Cardi B says she doesn't care about people reporting when it came to Tasha K, it's just, harassing. Cardi B, I also have to call BS on that because it does look like anyone who doesn't report the best on you attacked, even if it is rooted in truth. But anyway, I want her, I really wish they could have gotten to more of that. Also, they danced around 2018. I know some people say, oh, don't bring up Nicki. I would have liked them to ask, because when she talked about how because she couldn't handle the fame, she was running around, I feel like that was a good opportunity to say, do you think that played a part in the shoot incident in 2018? Because it sounds like she was going through postpartum. And I'm not blaming that on saying that was that's an excuse for how she did Nicki. That's unacceptable. And a side note, I wonder if they gonna patch things up because these two associates was linked together. I don't know, child. But here's the thing, though. I do feel like we like to tell Nicki to get over the situation, like she needs to get over, but at the same time, a shoe was thrown at her, so an assault happened, and at the time, nobody thought it was anything real. It wasn't a few people who in the industry who thought it was something wrong with it because of whatever feelings. What I do think is, I think that probably is a big reason why they haven't moved on. And it's also because it wasn't really completely addressed. I feel like both of them, like, we do need to go there, even if they're not going to make up. I do want to know how they feel about that now. Like, I want to know how Cardi B feels about that now, being that she said she was going through a lot of mental anguish because not adjusting to fame. And I do feel like, and I know stans, they like to say, don't bring them up. Y'all was in there watching. It was 15K of y'all, and I saw all y'all I skip the stands. These are questions that needs to be answered. I feel like what I don't like about when people interview Nicki and Cardi, I do not feel like they really get into things with them. Like, they don't really go into a whole bunch of things, and it feels like Nicki and Cardi, they both want to talk about it. You can tell they both want to talk about it. They both want to talk about whatever beef there is. You can tell Cardi B was really ready to open up in this interview, but Jason Lee was so caught up in kissing her behind, and he was just I hope Jason Lee does better with his interviewing skills. Now, I want to pull some cards. I know this video is long, but I want to pull some cards. I want to pull some cards when it comes to why she didn't submit WAP. Because I definitely feel like WAP should have been submitted. WAP definitely should have been submitted for a Grammy. I don't believe all of that. She was scared, but let me see. Why didn't she submit a Grammy? Now, what I will say this, I do feel like there's another collab coming with Meg and Cardi. I feel like they're going to do another collab. Yeah, let me see. How does Cardi feel about Meg? How does Cardi truly feel about Meg Thee Stallion? Just like what I thought. This is what I feel. I feel like Meg Thee Stallion's success puts pressure on Cardi B. This is what I do feel. And I don't feel like, I'm not necessarily picking up. This may not be like personal in between them. I'm getting, this is more so like business. It could spill out with a personal, but I do feel like the success of Meg puts a lot of pressure on Cardi B because she knows that, because yeah, she gets compared to Nicki, but I also feel like she gets compared to Meg too. And I feel like the more Meg puts out, the more she feels like she's behind, because I'm getting procrastination vibes when it comes to Cardi. Not saying that she's not in the studio, but I feel like Meg being hot, Meg really, because let's be clear, Meg, she has been putting out a lot of stuff this summer, and I feel like Cardi B in a sense feel like she can't keep up. I also feel like I secretly envy you. I feel like there's a little bit of envy there on the push that Meg has behind her. I'm definitely getting that. Let me see. How does Meg feel about Cardi? Yeah, I definitely feel like there's pressure. Like on the business aspect, I feel like there's a little bit of envy, a little bit of jealousy. How does Meg truly feel about Cardi? But I also feel like it's not just, I feel like it's not just on Cardi's end. I feel like there is a little bit of like competition between them two guys. They don't really have real trust with each other. If I have to be honest with you, I don't care how they put on. They don't really have real trust. Like, they don't really trust each other. They don't trust each other at all. But it's like, it's beneficial to keep you in my pocket versus us falling out. Because see, a few things that play a part in it. One, it wouldn't look good. Cardi, I feel like, has looked at Nicki. Because I do feel like Cardi B gets into it with the girls just as much as Nicki does. I do feel like that. Because the girls, she knows some of the girls only be trying to use her too. Let's be real. The new girls coming up. But I do feel like it's one of those things where keep your enemies close because of the quote unquote bigger enemy, if you get what I'm saying. Like, she also knows how it looks, how Nicki, you know, Nicki is very vocal and she has gotten into it with quite a few people, and she knows how it looks, because you know, you get deemed difficult even if you're not the difficult party. When you're the most successful, you get deemed difficult. This happened to Jay-Z too. People don't remember that, but anyway. But yeah, they don't really have the warmest of feelings no matter how they try to put on. I do feel like there's more of a connection with her and Glorilla. I do feel like that connection is genuine versus her and Meg. I feel like it's beneficial. Like, someone went Meg ear and like, look, you should collab with her. It's a #1. It's this. And someone went to Cardi B like, look, yeah, she was shading you, but look at the bigger picture. You know? That's what it's giving. But yeah, guys and goddesses, that's my commentary. I hope this video wasn't too long. Let me know what you guys think about this. I'm so curious to hear from you. Join me in Patreon. But yeah, guys and goddesses, until then, all my guys and goddesses, don't forget to always rock your crown. See you in the next video. Peace.